Sweet. I think we jumped right on. Yes. Yes. Perfecto. All right, let me turn that down. Get this out of the way. What is up? Happy Friday. Happy Friday. What's up, folks? Everyone jokes and is like, just waiting for the what's up, folks. Yeah. It's Friday, and as you can see, my eyes are swollen. Still in the not a lot of sleep group. I don't know how you've been doing. The water here. Okay, what's up? Happy Friday. My name is Ahna Hendrix, and I am a spiritual guide, Akashic Soul channel, and the host of the Soul Driven podcast, which is a weekly podcast where we explore living a soulful and spiritual life in a driven and ambitious world. Sometimes I feel like I'm like running over boulders to say that or something. It's been a couple years now. I should have it down pat, but life, and lack of sleep makes the mental space a little bit slower. So what's up? How has your past week been? How are you feeling? How did you make it through the magical Sagittarius full moon? I know for some of my friends, it hit hard. It came in strong. And that was definitely me. Monday night, in the midst of the very first meeting for the Confidence series, and it was awesome. Towards the end, like right before we were getting ready to do the Akashic activation, which is towards the very end of the meeting time, my eyes just like got really heavy and started sinking into my head, and I could just like feel the energy of the full moon that was coming in. I think I've talked about on this show quite a bit, like new moons are usually the ones that kind of kick my butt, but this one was definitely, and it wasn't like heavy in some sort of negative way by any means. I have a Sagittarian stellium in my natal chart. So 5 different places, I always get that mixed up, in Sagittarius. So it was like ding, 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 lighten up my chart. And my rising sign is also a fire sign. So yeah, it was definitely one that kind of hit home with me in regards to truth, where life is at, where life is headed, what is going on, what is it that I'm doing? Oh my gosh, what am I doing? But it was all good. It's been another one of those weeks for me of not a lot of sleep, which is where we get this puffiness from. And busy, honestly, just quite busy on my end. Again, like I mentioned, we had the first meeting for the Confidence series this week. We'll be meeting every Monday for the next, I think, 6 weeks. Because we have one Monday evening off for the July 4th. It's also an integration week, but it was powerful. I'm blown away at the folks who have showed up for this course. We have this beautiful group of 11 people, and each and every one of them are just bringing the magic. So it's been fantastic. They've really been enjoying it. I've been getting a lot of feedback, and we have a private community where we've been talking and sharing, and yeah, it's been awesome. So anyway, that has been very much where my focus has been this week. And just realizing like how much content I'm going to be creating every week moving forward, which honestly is a lot of fun, but definitely very different from my normal day to day. So acclimating to this new sort of semi-normal in the midst of this series being live. And I also had like an inkling for another course come in this week. And it was like, it just kind of started coming in, and I was like, ooh, and then it like pulled back out. And so I don't know, we'll see what's going to happen. What can I say? The Confidence series was is a fully channeled course. And so it was also cool because we were initially going to kick things off focusing on relationships. But my guides actually stepped in over last weekend and we're like, no. We're going to start off with confidence at the core, at the foundation. And so it was a much better sort of well-rounded way to go about this. And I was just like, I joked with the group that it's like, sometimes when my guides step in to like redirect me with something, it's like one of those like face palm moments where you're like, duh. But you're so caught up with things that you miss it, and that's okay. So anyway, couple of announcements. So first of all, I am offering right now, you can receive 10% off of Akashic Soul readings with me. These are very powerful sessions. If you are at a crossroads in life, if you want to dig deep on some relationship things that you're going through, if you are really concerned about finances in the future, I'm actually like considering putting something together specifically around this. But, whatever the case may be, if you are looking for direction or need assistance, the Akashic Records, I mean, I'm the biggest fan. So they have completely changed my life. They're the reason I'm here now, the reason I'm talking to you today. And but yes, I love the work I do. I love the work that I get to do with my clients. Lots of testimonials on my website. Of course, I'll leave a link below so you can check those out. But or feel free to contact me if you're like, I'm not sure if this would be helpful. I will definitely tell you because I don't want to waste my time either. So that's the first one. But also in the midst of that, be sure to join my email list because there is a new offering that might be coming out soon. And I will only be offering that to my email list. Like they'll get first dibs on it. It will be a discounted offering. So yes, be sure to be on my email list. They hear about pretty much all things first and get opportunities that I don't share outside of the email in that community. The second thing that I just wanted to share is if you haven't yet checked out this week's podcast episode on the depth versus heard, what lessons are here for us, highly recommend. It's, I don't usually talk about hot topics with my podcast, but this one really was like coming forward for me to discuss. And I was really very hesitant to do so until I sat down, really kind of wrote out my thoughts and realized there's some real things that are going on here. That trial was very reflective of our collective in general, and some huge lessons for us, not only about relationships that I think are really important to just review and remember and or hear for the first time, but also the collective lessons that are associated with this specific thing. So I'm definitely not trying to add to the noise, definitely not. It's not about taking sides. It's much bigger and higher and deeper than that. One of my big priorities in regards to anything that I am teaching, anything that I am sharing, anything that I am wanting to promote is this idea, this third option for us. We need to be thinking higher. We need to be thinking more. We need to be thinking outside of the box. We need to see situations for what they are. And I feel like it's very easy in these times because there is so much fear that is kind of running rampant for a myriad of reasons, and has been over the past, 5-6 years. I feel like it's just been ramping up. But, this real propensity to like choose sides and or be polarizing about whatever the topic is, whatever it is that is happening. And the bottom line is like, we don't have to choose sides. In fact, I would suggest and encourage you to be radical and not choose a side. I would encourage you to step outside these situations, to get a bird's eye view and to realize that there's a lot more going on than just this side versus that side. And we can create a third side. And we should create a third side. We are human beings. We are extremely intelligent. We are very creative, super capable. And so whether it is Johnny versus herd, or vaccines, or masks, or freaking anything, you know, Republican, Democrat, like honestly, anything, we need to be thinking bigger. Need to be thinking higher. And in that, we need to be thinking from a place of compassion, you know, in regards to the folks who aren't going to agree with us, the folks who aren't going to be able to do that. But that is certainly something that I continuously strive to do whenever I want to point fingers and be judgmental, is to remember, like, no, come back to heart, come back to center, come back to my humanity. You know, like there's not one person on this planet who has it all together, period. Right. And in that, we need to be compassionate with each other. We need to remember that, like, all of us have some dangly, ugly sides, right? And I don't know about you, but I don't like it when fingers are pointed at me. So I need to also live in the same way and do my best to not point fingers at other people either, right? Okay, so that's really kind of all I wanted to share. Also, be sure to check out, just keep revisiting the June Akashic Forecast. It's very powerful, very, very, very powerful. I keep going back to it, just being like, oh, emotions. Oh, yes. This is a really interesting month, very interesting energy. I'm curious about what July is going to be, but definitely not ready to get there yet. I'm going to have some big news coming up soon, so stay tuned for that. But yeah, you know, life is just pretty wild right now. Okay, so let's talk about last week's forecast. It's 12/12, by the way. Last week's forecast, like straight out of the chute, they were like, this is going to be a bumpy week. And they were saying it would be bumpy because lots of energy, like so many different types of energy would be coming at us at once. And again, that was definitely me. I was definitely experiencing that. Again, sleep issues. I think that this week was like, honestly, it's just a bit of a haze. It was also like I went from one moment being in like total bliss, especially like right around like after the, you know, the first session of the confidence series on Monday night. I mean, I was just like, ah, I get so excited when I'm teaching, and so excited to see students making connections and connecting with material, and seeing the wisdom that is within them. It's just so exciting to me. So I was on a bit of a high, and then, man, it was just like some things kept coming out of here and there. Like I was just kind of feeling like this all week, just back and forth. There was a lot of collective fear again going on this week. And, you know, as I mentioned last week, the protection, like please energetically protect yourself. It is just so, so huge right now. And I guarantee that it will help things to be better for you as you move through, you know, into the future, taking each day one at a time. Because I haven't been sleeping as much, I've kind of been allowing myself to sleep in, or like just honoring my body in that way. And then I've been getting up and in a little bit of a little bit of a fit, you know, kind of like, because I am getting up later, and then so I'm a bit off track with how I want my day to go. And again, finding myself in that space of really like absorbing everything going around me and being like, whoa, okay, I have to push this back and put these boundaries in place for me, put this protection around me so that I can go about my life and do my thing. And I especially recommend doing this before you go out, like to the grocery store or public places, or if you're doing things this weekend, like really take that time for yourself. If you are not sure how to protect yourself, feel free to comment below. I'm happy to help you in any way that I can. But You know, there's a lot of different ways to protect yourself. And I just suggest kind of jumping on Google and pulling some things up, trying some different things, seeing what resonates with you, because we're all a little bit different. You know, they talked about fear being the overriding theme right now. And that's just, it's where we're at, right? It's like you look at the news and you've got everything from war to economic stuff, you know, like here within the US, recession, a lot of recession talk, inflation, you know, prices are going up, things are intense. And I just want to remind you that in the midst of this, know that we are equipped to handle all of it. We have all the tools that we need. We have everything that we need right here, right now. We don't need to go outside of ourselves. We don't need to be freaking out. It's okay to acknowledge that fear and to see what it's about, get curious about it. But I have to tell you that whatever's coming is coming. And we can't control it. We can't stop it. We can't do any of those things. And it might not even be that bad. So let's just focus on today, right? And this was such a practice that I had in the midst of 2020. It was really like, whoa, I'm living the whole like taking one day at a time thing for real now. But I think also in these times, it's really important because we could be looking at the news or listening to our friends and thinking like, oh my gosh, this could happen, this could happen, this could happen. And these things may never happen. Okay. And we're just getting ourselves all kinds of worked up and to a tizzy and like anxious and all of that over maybe nothing. Right. So, and I'm not trying to be all like naive about it. I'm just saying that all we can do is handle the present. And all we have within our control is how we are reacting to the present. And so let's make sure to keep that stuff in its place. You know, don't let it take over your day, take over your mind, take over your energy. That was another one of the things that they really talked about was, you know, like we have to be an active participant in life these days. We can't just sit back anymore. And that is because all of these different things are coming at us. And if we're trying to take all of that on and do all of our daily things, we're gonna we're gonna fall apart. Okay, mentally, physically, whatever the case may be. So take care of ourselves, right? They've spoken to connecting with what's real between us. You know, that safe space that's on the inside of us, and guarding ourselves fiercely, so that not just anything can pass its way through. So I am continuously brought back to this present, I'm continuously brought back to this priority of coming within, of learning to go within. You know, we don't find answers out here. And we might think that we do. We might think that we can. We might think that, oh, I've got this friend who's amazing and blah, blah, blah. Or like there's this book and there's these answers, or there's this teacher, you know what I mean? But the truth is that, especially in these times, but always, coming back to center, learning how to connect with ourselves within is really the most powerful things that we can do for ourselves, period, always and forever. You know, if we need to make big decisions, then coming back here is definitely what we need to do. We have everything that we need within us. And the exterior world is the exterior world. It's on the outside of us. It will seek to distract us. It will seek to get us off course. And it is our responsibility to pull ourselves back. And that's not always easy. And we don't always succeed. I know I don't. I can get lost in a TV show or a book or whatever the case may be. But there's nothing that feels as good as coming back to center. Okay. So again, that was just kind of a bit about last week and the Akashic forecast from last week. I'd love to hear how it was for you. Please share below. Yeah, if you have been enjoying this channel, please like, subscribe, share, do the things. I always forget to say that stuff. What can I say? Okay. I'm going to put on some tunes for us here. I've been downloading some new music for the Confidence series for our activations, and there's a couple of different things. So mixing it up, finding some good stuff. Okay. So thank you so much for being here or for tuning in after, whatever the case may be. Let's just go ahead, hand on heart. Take a deep breath. Let's just do that a couple more times. Deep breath in. Out. In. And out. It's really connecting with ourselves and our hearts. Hand chakra over heart chakra can be very powerful. Just feel into your heart, feel what is there for you. This is a beautiful practice anytime you're getting lost in your mind, that logical mind that just wants to think and think and think. Especially if it's lost in a loop of fear. If you're feeling anxious, fearful, or if you just want to connect with yourself. The heart is our center. It's where life begins and ends while in these physical bodies. There's so much wisdom for us here. You don't even need me to touch into it. You don't need anyone. Just feel into your body. Whatever it's touching, whether you're sitting up or laying down. As always, I recommend getting into a quiet place and listening to this reading in the midst of headphones or wherever you can give it your full attention. Don't feel the need to understand every single word or to make sense of it. Just let it wash over you. What is meant to come to you will. And if you feel called back to it, it will unfold again. Please be kind to yourself in times like these. Always, but especially these days. It's not easy to be human, to be here. we chose to be. And each and every one of us have a lot to give. I'm gonna go quiet for a minute, and then I'll be back with our message. Masters, teachers, loved ones, what can you share with us about the week ahead? What is most important for us to know? What are some things for us to be aware of? What is our weekly forecast? There are times such as these when it's almost as if you're playing ball. The ball comes towards you. You hit it out. But where does it go? Which part of the field does it land in? Sometimes you take off running. Sometimes you head back to the dugout in defeat. But either way, you know that when it's your turn, you must stand at bat and try again. This is how to best approach these days and the times ahead. This is what is best for you to do. Just keep trying. Don't give up. We know that at times you want to. At times you look around yourself and you are overcome by exhaustion, grief, disbelief, anger, all of the emotions. And yes, you have every right to feel them, every right for them to pop up in your field. Because things are not easy on planet Earth at this time. But they will not always be as they are right now. They won't always be so heavy, difficult. You won't always have so many choices to make. Simplify, simplify, simplify. Please simplify your life. Please look around and what it is that doesn't belong. And choose to let it go. Choose to release this so that new energy might come in. The type of energy that wishes to help you rise, help you see all of the many variables that are standing in front of you. But come back to heart. Oh yes, always come back to heart. For the heart truly knows. In the week ahead, once again, you'll be pelted by so many different things. You'll feel as if you're being pulled limb from all the directions of your life, everyone wanting a piece of the pie, and this pie being you. But there are only so many pieces, and they should be rationed out. And wisdom and prudence, discernment for what may lay ahead. Do not give of yourself fully and totally to just anyone that comes your way. No. You must remain firm and planted, making exquisite decisions about where you should spend your time, who it should be with, and doing what. For in the midst of this upheaval and bounce, it's going to be harder and harder for you to connect with your energy if you're unaware of how to do so. You'll be thinking, I haven't felt like myself for some time. And no, of course you haven't. Just take a small look back at the past couple of years. Why would you be feeling just like your old self? And the real question is, do you truly want to feel just like your old self? No, there are more things for you to uncover, more things for you to do and be. Yet it all resides within simplicity. You don't need all the bells and whistles. You don't need all the fodder and festivities. Simplicity rules the day. In the week ahead, we want you to take great care to care for yourself. We know that at times we sound like a broken record, yet we must get this through to you. Must help you to hear what it is that you are overlooking for others, other things, other doings, other places to be. But you yourself, this is where it begins and ends. With all of the things that are in your life. How will you care for yourself? What will you do for yourself? The week ahead is not going to be bad. We don't wish to cause you any fear or further frustration, but we don't want to lie to you either. If you haven't been taking the time to build a solid foundation beneath your feet, then the wind is going to pick you up and throw you all around. It's going to take your pieces and tear into them because it can. Do not hesitate any longer. Do not allow yourself to get caught up, taken off point, thrown into the center. You must stand your ground, as we have said before. You must be an active participant, and you must begin to open your eyes to all that is around you. We know that at times you wish to remain idyllic about what is happening in the world around you. But these are not times for that. You must do more, be more. knowing that once you connect with your path, you will have never-ending energy. Yet this may take some time. Simply take one day at a time. Do not rush yourself or consider what the future may hold. But simply be with yourself, your family, those around you. Love on them, nurture on them. Show them your heart, always your heart. Forever coming back to it when times are rough. For here's where the foundation begins, the one upon which you stand. Know that you can handle these times. Know that you are equipped for these times. Know that there is nothing that can stand in your way unless you allow it to. Sit with the rhythm that is coming your way. See how it affects your body, mind, mental space, and make decisions accordingly. Do not feel the need to control everything, as that would be impossible. Simply focus on your own steps, doing what you can and releasing the rest to the universe. For it will be taken in, cared, bundled, and given back to you when the time is right. Trust us now. Trust the world around you. Trust even yourself. It was interesting that they kind of chose to touch on a lot of the things I was saying, I feel like, beforehand. In the midst of channeling, when that happens, like there's always this part of my mind that's like, wait a minute, I just said that. No, we can't channel that too. Like that's a repeat. That's a repeat. And it's like, oh. No, it's not. It's different. And it's okay if it's not. Yeah, so it felt very much like a lot of the energy that we had last week we'll be having this week again. And sort of that kind of like bumpy, not really knowing how to feel, how to be, how to do type energy. They're really showing me again, you know, the importance of us building our foundation. It really feels like we have got some really rough times ahead coming very soon for us. And I know astrologically, the second part of this year is definitely going to be much more intense than the first part. And I feel like so much has already happened within the first part, but and I don't share that with you to freak you out or to fill you with fear, anything of that nature. I always share my messages from a place of empowerment, because I know for myself, I don't always like getting the messages where they're like, oh, this week's going to be tough for you or whatever, when I do my own Akashic readings. But at the same time, if they share something with me, then I know how I can choose ahead of time. I can get my head straight. I can prepare. And, you know, preparation sometimes is a physical thing, other times a mental or emotional thing. I mean, it just really varies. But the bottom line is, when we understand what it is we're walking into, we can get ready for that. And that is what I would suggest for you. take the time to prepare. The time is really now. I feel like the time is winding down for us to build that strong foundation. And I don't mean that to say that like you'll never be able to do it again if you don't do it now. Not at all. You can do it at any point in time. It's just that it's going to, like with each passing day, it's getting harder and harder for us to do that. You know, it's going to take more energy, more willpower, more, just more in general, because there will be so much more going on around us and outside of us. And we have to take that seriously. You know, we've all been at that place in our life at one point in time or another where, like, you know, maybe a relationship is really starting to nosedive and things are starting to get really tough. And we can either see it for what it is, dive in, make some adjustments, change, whatever the case may be, so that we can actually build upon what is there and potentially turn it around or make it better. And or if it's, you know, already failing, then we can at least go out with our heads up high and like from a place of respect and love and appreciation for the role that the other person played versus out of anger and spite. And you know what I'm saying? And this is the same thing, whether it's like relationship or a job or anything of that nature. Like, again, you know what it's like when like things are starting to not really go well with your work and you're like, oh my gosh, I'm going to need to like think about something else. I'm going to need to broaden my horizons. I'm going to, like, you know, intuitively when the time is to make some changes. And I felt very strongly in the midst of this reading that like now was very much a time for us to really put our heels in, start building that foundation. And the foundation is built upon our relationship with ourselves, our spiritual selves, you know. And you can start doing this just by spending like 5 minutes a day praying, you know, 3 minutes a day, if that's all you can start out with. Praying to whomever feels right for you in whatever way feels right for you. If you want to maybe start meditating or doing breath work, something that really just, again, brings you back to center, brings you back to yourself. Journaling could be a really good practice too. If you are not much of a writer, you know, doing recorded videos of yourself can also be really helpful at times for, you know, the thing is that we want to tap into our emotional selves. We want to get to the core, the root of what it is that's going on, what we're thinking, what we're feeling, where are we at. And the quieter practices are really what really what helps us to do that. So that is what I would highly recommend. And just taking this seriously, you know, and also remember that like the world can be falling apart around us and we can be experiencing life from a joyful, wonderful, fulfilling place. We don't have to be where the rest of the world is at all. And the only way we can do that is if we have that strong boundary, if we have that ability to be like, you know, when it does get to be too much or it does get to be whatever, we pull back into self, we get recentered, we get refilled, rejuvenated, you know, those sorts of things, so that we can, okay, I'm going to go back out, I'm going to deal with the world again. You know what I mean? Things we need to take very seriously. So I just invite you to do this, especially in the week ahead. Just start something. And, you know, we are leading into the new moon. I believe it is 28th. So we've got this week coming up. We've got the summer solstice on the 21st. And then on the 28th, we will have the full moon. I can't remember what it's in right now. I'm all kind of woozy from the records. The energy is pretty intense today. But this will, you know, new moons are always a great time for setting up new habits, new things, planting new seeds for ourselves. And I highly recommend doing so, because manifesting things right now is so easy. I don't know about you, but I have really caught myself manifesting some things that I thought I wanted till I got them. And then it was like, maybe not. all lesson on this journey we call life. But anyway. I wish you a wonderful weekend, wonderful weekend, wonderful week ahead. Thank you so much for tuning in or being here with me. Such a pleasure as always. Lots of energy today. Okay. Thank you so much and much love, many blessings. Mwah, mwah, mwah.